My first Meskula listing. Right now, we're just getting it staged. It's $1.6 million. I just finished reading your book.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear it.
Second last
We are friends,
chapter.
by the way.
Pardon me? We
We
are
are
friends?
friends. Absolutely.
We're similar places in our lives, I think. With having new kids. Yeah, so really great. I just passed it off to my colleague,
Thanks, man.
Mel, and I think your second last chapter, which was surprising, touched home. So I won't give anything away. I highly suggest everyone read it. I'm in my first Meskula listing. Right now, we're just getting it staged. And I'll
What?
show you
Look
the
at
view
that.
because it's $1.6 million.
What a stud. Look at that.
How do we turn this thing around?
There should be like arrows in a circle that changes the arrow from
Here we
you.
go.
Yeah,
All
there you
right, so this is the place. It's like
go.
1,300,
Wow.
but this is the best part.
Oh my
This
gosh.
view.
Look
So
at
this is
that
in
view.
Yale Town in Vancouver. I know many of you guys probably don't have buildings this tall where you live, but
Oh,
we got a full like 270-degree view of all of
gee.
the amazing. And this lady bought this last April. So when she was looking at it up, I was like, wait a second, this one just got purchased. Like, what's going on? Turns out she lives overseas. She bought it, gets way too hot in here with the sun. And so we've been making trips to HomeSense, which is like, I don't know, like a Marshall's kind of thing, and
Yeah.
just getting it all ready with art and lamps, and didn't really leave us with much. So, but the view, oh my God, I'm excited to bring it to market. We're obviously doing everything. I got videos and photos and floor plans coming on Tuesday. But yeah, this is my first Meskula, and
So incredible.
I first tried to rent it out for her, and then once I actually found a tenant, she got freaked out that she didn't want to rent it anymore. And yeah, so pretty spectacular. Followed all the principles, tried to not just go right for the like sell and offer added values of other things I might be able to help her with.
Like renting.
Renting, yeah, like offering the rental service, which is something we have done, and it's kind of blown up outside of what we had hoped. We have like 10 rentals available right now. The rental market's taking a little bit of a hit in Vancouver just because immigration's down and
Yeah.
prices are just coming down a bit. But we do furnished rentals, mainly long term for like executives coming to town or people that had a fire or something like that. So it's just like another
So
view in which I was able to like offer to all these Meso ads and be like, hey, have you thought of like maybe renting it out instead of selling it if you can't sell it for the price you want?
So if we were sitting at a coffee shop and I'm like, man, that's an amazing listing, I would probably ask you, Sheldon, when you first spoke to the person, were they like immediately ready to sell, or was it uh,
No, they unsubscribed.
they
The
unsubscribed?
first couple days, and then I kind of was like, I noticed they just purchased this, and she's like, oh, I live overseas. I was like, oh, well, you're just like empty house tax. Do you want to rent it out? This is what I think you could get for it.
Ooh.
And that was a couple months ago. So that was before Christmas. So it was probably like September or October that happened. So we've been trying to rent it, and then finally got a really good tenant. And then she just kind of flipped the switch, was like, what? Decided I don't want to rent it. I want to sell it. So she's been a bit of
Man,
back and forth, but it's really spectacular. She already had a bunch of furniture in here. So it was just a matter of getting some stuff that kind of matched her needs or I guess her desires of what
yeah.
she wanted. Yeah. I guess
So
coming
guys, this is particularly rewarding for me because Sheldon's been a faithful on this Friday call. And one of the things months and months ago, Sheldon, we discussed, there were several moments where you're like, the leads aren't responding, I'm not getting engagement. And then we gave Sheldon some talk paths, some talk tracks of different ways of approaching. You heard him talk about providing value, right? He said, I offer different services. And that's what we teach everybody. We teach so because a lot of you that are newer, you're calling these leads and they're giving you reasons why they're not a good seller lead. They're not saying that. And they're not saying I'm not a good seller lead. But they're saying things that in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, these are trash. I want to rent it. I'm not interested. I unsubscribed. I don't want to. I don't want to sell yet. I'm moving sooner or later. Like all these reasons. And my whole approach is to say, look, this is not a lead that you're talking. This is a
true.
human that has a future,
100%.
and you got to provide value right out of the gate, not to get the sale, but to be helpful, to be a good person. And you end up becoming an integral part of the process. Why wouldn't they list with Sheldon? He's already been working with her, right?
Yeah,
And so that's fantastic, man. That's such a fantastic listing. Your job now is when you list it, your job is to meet 2 to 3 humans because of that listing.
totally.
That,
And even if I think it might be a little high on the price, but again, if she's actually motivated to sell, I'm more excited about picking up some potential buyers, picking up some other listers in the building, and
Mhm.
really like, showing my worth as a realtor in this city. I don't live too far from here. It took me 5 minutes to get here. Downtown's pretty amazing for that reason, and just kind of Vancouver in general. So yeah, it's exciting to have put the things I learned in place and
Yeah.
see the reward at the end of the day. And if it doesn't sell, it's no big deal. I've built a client for life. She's been very like adamant about what kind of materials I use in here, and
Mhm.
even pictures of view. She's like, the view is what sells it. You don't need a fancy bedspread. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I got your. So trying to work with a seller who's not here has been challenging, but at the same time, it's a growth thing. So uh,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
excited.
Well, we're all excited for you. It's great to see someone learn something new, and put it into practice. And when you approach these calls with these humans, we call them leads, but they're humans, with the desire to become an integral part of the process, whatever that means for them.